Now before diving into actual web development, let's just discuss for a while how the general internet works. And believe me, you'll be fascinated by this discussion. Now let's assume a situation that we want to copy a question from Google in our exams, as usual. So the regular process is I just hit up my browser and type https://www.google.com on my browser window and just press enter. Within that process, actually lots of stuff happens. The request that this specific person wants to get to google.com goes to my internet service provider. Now once the request is received by my internet service provider, it hits up the windows of a DNS server. Now DNS server is like a library which stores all the IP addresses of whatever website you can imagine of. An IP address is like a specific location so that we get the appropriate website from the server, so that when you search for google.com, you don't get into examster.com and get distracted while your exam, right? So after being distracted, let's back into the discussion. Now once the IP address is known to our internet service provider, it hits up to the servers of Google via large ass wires under the sea. Believe me or not, it's the actual process that happens. Now once the request reaches to the servers of Google, it sends us all the required information and source code that is required to hit up google.com on my browser. And then that comes to my browser and hits up google.com. And believe me, that's the entire process that happens when we type for google.com and press enter. And all this happens within couple of milliseconds or way less than that. Now I think that's a really fascinating discussion. Now, once we hit up google.com, the regular process of cheating in exams is basically going to Wikipedia. Now, let's continue our discussion revolving around Wikipedia.
So now that you have fired up wikipedia.com on your web browser and can now copy that answer from wikipedia.com to your answer sheet and maybe top that examination. A side note, we don't promote cheating. Let's for a second deep dive into how wikipedia.com actually works, or in general how any website on the web works. So at the core, any website has three basic parts: JavaScript, HTML, CSS. Nope, they are also a part of the website, but we will talk about it with great detail in the later section. But at the core, at the basic core, a website has three major parts: the front end, the database, and the API. In this section, I am going to just introduce you to these concepts. So let's start with the front end. So the front end is everything, just everything that you see on the screen. Now this might sound a little bit intimidating, but that's the truth. Front end is everything that you can see on the screen. On wikipedia.com, that Wikipedia logo at the top, that title in bold, that information, even that photos that you see on the screen, they are all part of the front end. On Instagram.com, the stories, the posts, the like button, everything is front end. And let's just quickly move on to the database part. You can see database as storehouse, a storehouse of informations that are needed for the website to run properly. For example, on the Wikipedia page, what the title should be, what the information should be, the image or the URL of that image, the sources. On Instagram page, the stories, who have posted those stories, at what time they were posted, the comments, the likes, everything, the number of likes, everything is stored, every information is stored on the database. So now that you have learned a little bit about the front end and the database, the front end is what shows the information to you and the database is what stores the information for you. So don't you see a need of an agent that can convey the data or information to and from the front end and the database? Well, yeah, that's the work of API. The API is the part which conveys information from the database to the front end and from the front end to the database. So this was all about the brief introduction of the three parts of a website. In coming sections, we are going to talk about them in great detail and also are going to provide you with sources from where you can learn and master these things and be a master of web development. All the sources are free of cost. So let's begin.
Now let's discuss what on earth is actually a website front end made of. Now, a website is primarily made of three languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Now, the front end of a website can be really correlated with the building procedure of a house. For example, HTML is used for the structure of the website. It's equivalent to the builder who actually builds the house, who lays out the stone, who lays out the plan, builds the kitchen, bathroom, and all that stuff. In context of a website, HTML places the buttons, images, the text, headers, whatever you want to put in on your website is done by the HTML. Then comes the role of beautification. Now, CSS is there with us to beautify our websites. It's like the designers and the painters who actually make the house look as we want it to look like. And with the help of CSS, in context of website, we can change the background colors, the font size, weight, shadow, animation, center the content, whatever we want. And then comes the final part of making the website actually usable. Now, JavaScript is responsible to make the website interactive and usable. It's like the plumbers who give the water connection, the electricians who give the electricity connection and make the house, and in this case, the website, actually usable. Now, without further ado, let's discuss the roadmap and how you can learn all this stuff and build amazing website front ends.
Now that we are done with the theory part, let's just quickly jump onto the resources. So if you're a person who don't like watching long lectures and can learn efficiently through interactive text and exercises, then freecodecamp.org is the best resource out there for you. Now if you want to watch long lectures and learn from them, then you can check out FreeCodeCamp's YouTube channel. They have covered everything in great detail. And if you are familiar with Hindi and want to see content in Hindi, then you can subscribe to the channel called Code with Harry. He had explained every concept in great detail with side projects so that you have a grip of whatever you have learned. Also, when you finish learning HTML, JavaScript and CSS and you think that you are master in that, you can check out frontendmentor.io, a website where you can accept challenges and learn from it.
Now then comes the holy grail, JavaScript. If you prefer interactive coding, then you can just go to freecodecamp.org's website and they got you covered this time as well. They have this really beautiful course of basic data structures and algorithms with JavaScript. You can practice with that and build some projects to gain some experience with JavaScript. Now, if you're interested in video-based tutorials, FreeCodeCamp also got you covered with their JavaScript tutorial video on YouTube. They have got multiple of them, but this that's currently showing up on your screen is the best one. All the links are in the description, so you can check out. And if you want to practice real-world projects with the help of JavaScript and the HTML and CSS that you learn, i.e. DOM manipulation, they also got you covered with these 15 project series of JavaScript where they teach you DOM manipulation with the help of 15 real-world small projects that you can practice to get your hands dirty on HTML, CSS and JavaScript. And if you prefer Hindi, believe me, you don't need to watch this video entirely. Harry Bhai got you covered. His playlist on web development from development to deployment is absolutely insane. It has all the details that you want to learn for. So just go and watch that playlist. You don't need to watch this video till the end. And if you have reached till this point, you have learned HTML, CSS and JavaScript, you need to go to frontendmentor.io. Now this is a beautiful place where they have all these catered projects according to your difficulty level that you can choose upon, and they give you all the resources and the starter files to start coding. Once you're done, you have to submit the solution on their website and people will review your solution absolutely for free. And the link's in the description so you can check it out. Then it's time to learn a JavaScript based framework. Now currently whatever you see on the web, most of them are web apps, and at least all the ones that we use on a daily basis are web apps. They are not websites. Like Amazon Prime, Netflix, Instagram, all these are web apps, and web apps are pretty complex to build with just HTML, CSS and JavaScript. The best way to build web apps is by learning frameworks which are based on JavaScript. Now a couple of frameworks that are really popular are React, Vue and Angular, and there are many other frameworks as well that you can consider. But if you're in India, React is the best option that is available because of its community and its high demand in India. Now, if you're interested in React, this FreeCodeCamp video got you covered where they have the exact pattern as they followed in JavaScript. First, they teach you through this video about all the minute details from the very basic with React. Once you're done with that, they build 15 real life projects so that you can get your hands dirty on React. Now, once all this is done, you learned HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and a JavaScript based framework. Now it's time to practice that skill in a real life project. What you need to do is just pick up any website that you just watch on a daily basis. Let's say Amazon Prime, and try to clone Amazon Prime without watching a tutorial. Now, you can obviously search Google for the details or wherever you are confused about, but don't watch a complete Amazon Prime tutorial on YouTube with React. Just build it on your own. With this, you will actually practice all the skills that you will learn, and everything will just seep into your brain and start making sense, and it will make connections in your brain that will just improve your coding skills a lot.
So now let's come to the database part. A database is basically a storehouse, as I told in the beginning, a storehouse of information that a website needs to run properly. It might be your email, your password, your profile picture, or even your name, or anything that a website needs to show up. Now, talking about the types of databases, there are basically two types of databases, the SQL databases and the NoSQL databases. So here is a video of Academind where it is explained what is the difference between the SQL databases and the NoSQL databases. Just a side note, you'll need to have a basic knowledge of both the types of databases, and then you can choose what you want to use on a website. Also, the links to the video from where you can learn both the types of databases are given down in the description, so do check them out.
Let's talk about server-side code. Now, these are the stuff that brings these beautiful articles that are stored on Wikipedia's database and shows it in a very meaningful way on Wikipedia's website. And at very core, these are just data carriers and are often called as APIs or application programming interface. Now, once the code of these APIs are written, the APIs on the database are often deployed in platforms like AWS or DigitalOcean. Now, the purpose of deploying them on these foreign servers, it's because servers are a very special type of computers which run 24/7, so that you can request data anytime to your database and the API can fetch data and show to the user. No matter whatever time it is, 24/7, always the server is up and running. Now, there are quite a few intricate details involved in writing backend code because you deploy this code in someone else's computer, i.e. the server. So if your code consumes a lot of memory or consumes a lot of data in general, it's going to cost you money. So it's really important to write efficient backend code so that A, the time of loading is really slow, and B, the cost is less.
So now let's quickly jump to the resources of how to build an API. We would recommend you to learn how to build an API in Node.js through this playlist of NetNinja, where he explains in great detail how you can build different systems and how to use APIs. Now, you can build APIs in many different languages such as Python or PHP. But as we have built our frontend in JavaScript, it would be easier to shift and to build APIs in Node.js. Also, we have provided links to videos in which you can understand about different systems of an API, such as the authentication system, the system through which you actually sign up, log in and log out a user, and many more. So do check out those links in the description.
So now once you have come this far and learned all the stuff that's required, it's really important to practice all these newly acquired skills, because one doesn't learn by watching lectures, one actually learns by doing stuff. So now it's time to build projects. For project inspiration, you can always visit dribble.com. It's this amazing storehouse of beautiful websites and apps, and it's my daily procrastination driver. To start practicing, you can start small by building full stack to-do web apps or blog websites, and once you go along, you can start building cool projects like Netflix or Amazon Prime, like Instagram or Zomato, whatever you wish. And if you're interested in topics like entrepreneurship, finance, coding, or anything in general related to college and learning stuff, then you can join our Discord server, links in the description.
So at the end, I'd like to say that we are not pros in such topics. We are also just a bunch of engineering college students who want to learn more. So if you like the way that we present and if you like the video, you can share this video in your college groups, in your college WhatsApp groups, so that your friends also can top that examination. And if you have watched till the end, if you have watched till now, you can drop down a relieved face emoji down in the comment section. That'll just make our day. And with that said, we'll meet again with another such video. Till then, it's a goodbye.